I here. This is a reading for the sign of Sagittarius. We're going to do a Celtic cross spread with the huge tarot deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get an idea of what the general message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious and to see if there are any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning in to the sign of Sagittarius. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however else you choose to identify with the sign of Sagittarius, you can use that as a way of interpreting the messages that are coming through today. And as always, if the details of these messages don't fit, that's okay. You can always check your other placements, or you can stick around and see what's going on in the world of other Sagittarians. So let's see what messages we get today. What things should we think about? What things can we meditate upon? Are there things that we should try to avoid? Any warnings that we might need to hear or see? Or, on the other side of that, are there positive things that we should move towards? Things that would benefit us if we were to put more of our energy into them? Maybe things that might make our life a little easier, a little happier, or whatever it is that you're looking for in your life. What messages can we receive today for those who are trying to tap in to the energy of the sign of Sagittarius? Alright. Honestly, I'm feeling one more good shuffle. Just for good measure. Alright, so let's see what our Celtic cross has for us today. Okay. So we begin in the present moment with the Magician. Very nice way to start. The creator, the manifester. He has all the tools that he needs around him to construct the things that he is either divinely receiving from above, or even the things that he may perceive and want to put into the world that they can be perceived by others. Really just a conduit for communicating and bringing into form some sort of idea, something that needs to be communicated into existence. He is the creator, in that sense, of whatever these abstract ideas are that wish to have form in reality. He is the tool that is used to carve those things into reality. So, for you in your situation, perhaps this is a sign that you are beginning to create something new. Maybe you're working on a new project, or maybe you're just tapping into your creativity and trying to sort of get some inspiration for whatever it is that you want to put into the world. So let's get some context. What crosses our Magician? The Judgment card. Yes. So it is very likely that whatever it is that this Magician is representing for you, whatever it is that you're tapping into, I get the sense that it is something that is either going to open up a new sort of stage for you, a new sort of era, so to speak, or an aeon, as we would see in the Thoth deck. Or perhaps another interpretation that could come through here is that whatever it is that you are creating, I'm getting like Phoenix vibes here. I'm getting the sense of creating something from the destruction of something else, almost like the death energy that you might see. We don't have a death card, maybe we'll see one. But I'm seeing this sort of rebirthing kind of idea here, that we are creating something out of the rubble of something that has come from before. Okay, in fact, wouldn't it be curious if the recent past was the death card? Let's see what we get. Well, we have a Knight of Swords which is definitely in line with magician energy. This is definitely pulling ideas and information together and pushing it forward into the world. I might say a little bit more about that in a minute. Let's get a sense of what else we've got going on here. Okay, the Three of Wands, I like that. A Queen of Pentacles, very nice. A Six of Pentacles, those are very lovely cards. Justice, the Sun, very beautiful. Okay, there's I mean, it's in the challenge, but that's, yeah. Okay, definitely a rough landing there. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. For this cycle of readings, I've actually been pretty bad about doing this sort of energy check to see what's going on here. So let's take a moment and just look around at what kind of things we have here on the table. In terms of court cards, we have two. We have a Queen of Pentacles and a Knight of Swords. In fact, because we have sort of a masculine and a feminine force here, maybe there is some sort of partnership of some sort that is represented by this. Perhaps bringing in ideas from one side and bringing them to someone else who is able to manifest those ideas. We have a sort of very grounded, nurturing, practical energy and a very forceful, creative energy here. So that is a fantastic force to pull together into the magician and to then throw through this gateway that is the Judgment card into something new that will follow it. But let's see what else we've got here. In terms of our other energies, we've got some fire energy here. Of course, we've got the sun, which is massive, massive fire energy. A little bit of earth up there, some air here, and fair number of major arcana, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half of our cards are major arcana. And yeah, I see that devil up there really glaring down on us here. And I kind of get energy of, you know, trying to get off the ground with something new, trying to push forward into something like I said, I feel like some death energy coming out here, taking things from the past and using them as in a very phoenix way to bring some new powerful energy to push forward. And I see that devil up there. I'm surprised he's not in the line of the challenge. He is sitting there trying to say, let's hold back and not let this go forward. Okay, it's almost as if there's all this positive energy moving forward, and then we hit this roadblock with this Nine of Swords, and it's almost as if anxiety and doubt is what is holding us back. And you have the devil up there at the top really trying to keep us from moving forward with this. Now, the devil may also represent, to some degree, an energy of wanting to rebel, of wanting to do something different. It doesn't have to necessarily be a purely negative energy. I do see it as being an energy that could potentially hold us back, but it also could be an energy of being grounded in our own power and using that as a force to do something different, you know, to push back against the natural order of things, a sort of anti-Hierophant, which I often see the devil as being the sort of dual to the Hierophant. But definitely a challenge to overcome and not stay stuck in that energy. It can be a very, it's an energy that can help us learn a lot of lessons, and it can help us innovate and do interesting things if we don't get stuck and gummed up in the sort of stickiness that the devil brings to the table. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That's the last card. Let's get to that point first. So as I said, we're starting here with the Magician. This is creative energy. This is wanting to manifest something into your reality. And for that to be crossed by Judgment card, this is wanting to create something that is going to propel you forward into some new era or period of your life. Maybe you were working on a project and this is going to be you taking it to the next chapter, next level, really upgrading something. Maybe you have something you're working on at work that you're getting ready to release, and this is you really being able to put that product into form and get into the, you know, like the deployment period of actually like bringing this thing into the hands of other people to use. If it's something creative that you're working on, perhaps you're finally putting it into form and sharing it with other people. But it's creating something and putting it out there. And with the Knight of Swords coming from behind, this is that energy that is what is propelling this forward. This is like a gust of wind that is pushing through the gateway that is the Judgment card. So this, I think, is the sort of voice, as I mentioned, there's almost a divine voice that speaks to the magician, that he is then the creator that manifests the information that is being sent through him. On the Thoth deck, you actually see the magician getting, like, as they say, divine downloads, and then bringing those into the world. He's the channel for that information that makes it real. And I feel like this right here is that inspired energy of pushing that forward. Now, if this is, like I said, a work thing, and you're working on some kind of project that you're getting ready to complete, this is the hard work and thought that went into creating this thing, as it is then put forward into the world. And then with the Three of Wands over there, once this thing is sort of ejected into the world, right? I see this, like, there's this gateway here, and you've got this thing and just pops out, and then it's like out there in the world. And the Three of Wands is letting that thing be released into the world and start to disseminate whatever it is that it is, a message of. Like, if it's an artistic thing, this is letting that piece sit into the world and letting other people actually start to interpret and understand it and appreciate it and interact with it. If I use the metaphor of like a deployment period, if you're maybe a software developer or something, maybe you've created a piece of software and it's now being implemented in machines, and other users are now actually starting to work with it, and that can be a little scary, right? Then people can start to pick apart the mistakes and the bugs and what you've done. But this timeline right here is really saying that you've created something and you've pushed it forward, and now it's out there, it's in the world, and for better or worse, it's time for other people to start playing around with it. Okay, so here we have down here the Queen of Pentacles, and I think this is sort of, for me, this is representing your internal energy. Now that this deployment has occurred, this creation process has happened, this thing has been birthed into the world, and now, if this is a software thing you're working on, this could be you tinkering with it and fixing the bugs as they come in, and trying to help it continue to grow once it's out there. If this is an artistic thing, maybe this is you maybe releasing like a special edition, where the director's cut type thing, where you're tinkering with whatever the mistakes are that come back, the feedback that other people give you. But this is that nurturing energy of letting it grow. This is you, like I said, this is the energy you're probably feeling inside yourself of wanting whatever it is that you've created to continue to grow, and this is you taking that nurturing position to help that thing grow. Okay. Up here at the top, and what is sort of crowning this entire experience, is the Six of Pentacles. For me, that is financial abundance here. I feel like whatever this is that you have created and you have put into the world, it is going to be prosperous for you. Now, maybe not strictly speaking financially, but it's going to bring some level of sort of positive abundance to your life. Whatever abundance means for you. Not everybody values money as the thing that they're trying to bring into their life to feel accomplished. It's not always about accumulating wealth, but it's value. And whatever this thing is that has been birthed into the world, below is the energy of you wanting to nurture it and help it grow because you just want it to be successful. And up here is the sort of guiding light of what propels us forward and almost lets you be able to do this nurturing sort of process. It's what allows you to thrive and survive, and it's the things you get back in return for putting this into the world that allow you to continue sustaining this process. So, if this is you nurturing something, like maybe if this is, like, think of it like a plant or something that's growing, this is maybe the fruit that plant might, bear, that you can then take and eat yourself, and that can energize you so that you in return can help this thing continue to grow and move forward. So it's like there's a cyclic thing that's happening. This is what you're receiving in the process, and then this is you sort of pushing that back out, and it creates a loop too, right? As you're helping grow this thing, you're putting your energy to help this thing succeed. It then is successful and brings you abundance that you can then share back, and you keep this sort of revolution going so that this thing, now that it's birthed into the world, can continue to be successful and grow. And yeah, that's what's going on in my mind with all of this energy over here. And I love this. This is great. This is more difficult. This is definitely more of a challenge over here. It's not all bad. I mean, we have justice here. This is very much a card of karma. When you make actions in the world, they cause equal and opposite reactions in some sense. but even not even necessarily in that sort of like Newtonian sort of way. This is also more a card of also like putting something positive into the world is then going to sort of cause ripples in the world that will create positive occurrences outside of you. Like this is why intentionality is such an important thing, because when you put things into the world in a positive way, that positive energy, whether consciously felt or not, creates positive results. When you do things just for the good of making the world a little better, the world gets a little better. And as the world gets a little better, other people experience that and they reciprocate that positive energy. And that's why, like, the more you put positive things out there, the more positive everything sort of becomes. It's like, think of a big pond, and if you drop a little bit of something mucky in the water, the ratio of good to nastiness in the water changes. And if you drop something positive in there, then the ratio of good to negative changes. And this is the card that really represents that whole process. So whatever this was that has been put into the world, this is your general energy, in the sense that if this was something that you put into the world with good intention, this is representing that good positive things will be reciprocated back to you, right? We have this loop occurring here. So if you're putting your heart and your positive energy into whatever this is that you've made, this is the card that's representing you sort of experiencing that in return. It's not exactly in the position of the environment, but I think this is in some sense you experiencing the way the environment affects you. And as you experience positive things, you're in turn going to put those things back. The justice here is the balancing out of karmic forces. And I think that's why, again, whatever this is, it's good that you have this positive Queen of Pentacles energy to keep helping this thing grow in a positive way. Okay, so I think, this is a good card if your intentions are good. This is a negative card if your intentions are not good. So this is almost a sign that as you move forward with whatever this is, make sure to keep your head on your shoulders and make sure you're remembering to do things for, the good of everyone if you really want it to be successful. That's really the key to maintaining that success. Okay. I just noticed the camera was a little unfocused there. I hope that wasn't too distracting throughout this experience. My camera's been a little wonky lately. Okay, so here we have the Justice card, and we have in our environment the Sun. So I think this is really saying, for me, I'm getting the vibe of illumination. I mean, yeah, it's positivity, it's joy, it's abundance. I mean, as I said, if you're putting positive things out there, your environment is in return going to be positive. But I almost feel like what this is representing is the light that's sort of going to be shined on you as whatever this is put into the world. And again, if your intentions are good, this is going to grow that positivity and it's going to let everyone see that, and it's going to be something fantastic that you're going to be able to soak in. If your intentions with whatever you are creating in this world are not so good, this is going to shine a light on that and show everyone like, hey, what are you doing? If you're putting out buggy software that is buggy software, people are not going to want to continue investing in your work and continuing to work with you. If you're creating art that is, causing destructive bad feelings in the world, people are not going to want to engage with the material you're putting out there. Now, that's not to say you can't put out work that is negative to help people grow, but, your intentions are going to, in return, bring back positive or negative results. And this is your environment shining a light on that, and this is you feeling the actual effects of that in your own personal experiences. And sometimes this can weigh on people, this reality that your intentions and what you create have such a big impact on its success. That's why I think the challenge here is the Nine of Swords. I think the idea here is that, again, with whatever you're creating, whatever you're doing, it's important to know why you're doing it and to have a positive intention with that, because otherwise the anxiety of the consequences are going to start to eventually, maybe not always immediately consciously, but they will weigh on you. So it's very important to come to the table with good intentions and to be trying to help everyone no matter what the situation is. And I think that's really the sort of tale of this whole thing here, ending with the devil energy here, is that I think this is, in some sense, it can be a warning. Because if you do something that's very successful, that people really enjoy, it can be really easy to almost get greedy with the abundance that something brings to you. So if you make something that turns out to be really successful and it brings you a lot of cash, it's really easy to lose your grounding and not stay as humble as you were when you first started. Think about like tech startups where it was just a bunch of guys in a garage making something they were passionate about, and then it blew up, and then the next thing you know, you've got like a giant company like Microsoft or Apple or Google, and not everybody running those things has great intentions, but that money can be very corruptive. So again, I think this is a warning. Over here is the cycle of creation, this beautiful cycle of creation of getting an idea, building that idea, pushing it forward, letting the world experience it, continue to nurture that idea, and then up there you've got the abundance that is brought in that then helps you cycle through and keep this loop going to make this thing better and better. Over here is the warning of not letting that cycle get corrupted by whatever negative intentions you might have or distractions that could come into your life. Again, what you put out into the world will return back to you, and it will eventually be illuminated. And this is another thing. If you've got negative things that if you've got bad intentions with anything you do, eventually people, as you get more and more attention, are going to notice those negative things. So don't have those negative intentions, right? Just get rid of them in the first place. But sometimes we don't always even realize consciously, like I said, what these intentions are. So this Nine of Swords challenge here, I think, is really doing the difficult soul searching, looking at your shadow, making sure that the reasons you're doing things really are as genuine as you hope they are. And the devil up there is the warning to, as you're going through this process, also don't get stuck dwelling on your intentions too. I mean, that can be also really destructive. If you're just stuck spinning your wheels in your head, not knowing what you're doing or why you're doing it, you might end up not doing anything at all because you're stuck in this. I mean, that's another way the devil manifests is to get you stuck in your head and never letting you leave because you're just thinking over and over and over and over again about whatever you're doing. So don't let that get you stuck. Do the difficult shadow work that needs to be done, but move forward once you're done with it. Don't let that devil hold you back, okay? I mean, we've got the sun down here. We can continue to bask in that beautiful sun energy as long as we are continuing to move forward with good positive intentions and good, just doing good things. So let's see what we don't see coming here. Nine of Cups. Yeah, I see I see prosperity here. I see good things for whoever this message is for. Again, just make sure you don't let things get you stuck. This Nine of Cups feels awesome. Sometimes that awesome feeling can be corruptive. It can be addicting, and it can get you sucked into a vacuum of doing things just for the good of the reward. And again, this cycle relies on getting the reward and then pumping that reward back into whatever it is that you're creating. If you start siphoning too much of that for yourself, then you're going to get stuck in devil energy. So again, this is the warning. Don't let that get you sucked in. Take your wins. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. I mean, the Queen of Pentacles, she likes to party. She likes to enjoy things and have a good time. But she's still nurturing those around her as well. It's not just indulgent pleasures. It's about enjoying the fruits of your labor in a way that is that helps you feel good about what you've done, that makes you really, I mean, you do need some level of pleasure and joy to motivate you at some level. I mean, if you're just doing things just to do them, even that comes with a certain level of joy and pleasure of knowing that you're doing something good. Like there's always some level of positive feelings that come from doing good things. Just don't get addicted to that feeling. Don't let the rewards be the end in and of itself. Okay, so that's pretty good. Very good message. Let's see what the shadow deck has for us. I have a feeling we're going to get a little bit more going on with the devil energy here. Because I really feel like that's how he's going to come in and corrupt things. With the Nine of Swords and the devil really being at the end of this, I would be surprised if there is not something that ties back to that here in the shadow deck cards that we pull. But let's just see what we get. Let's pull our 3 cards and see what happens. All right. Okay, let's see what we get. What is going on in your subconscious? We've got a Justice card. Yeah, really thinking about the karma again. Two of Cups. Connection. Interesting. And Five of Swords. Interesting. The Five of Swords has got to be tied back into that devil energy there. So again, we have the confirmation of the Justice card. Definitely feeling the sense of, I think this is your conscience. This is the symbol of you knowing inside what is and isn't right and deciding to either go with or against that. With the Two of Cups, I almost feel like the connection that the Two of Cups represents here is you deciding either to align with or against your conscience here. So again, as this success comes in, it's this idea of understanding what to do with that success and whether or not it is going to bring in positivity or whether or not it is going to be something that is corruptive. You're going to connect with it, and I think you want to connect with it in a positive way. But with the Five of Swords there, I see a little bit of a precarious balancing act of knowing that there are good things, and those things can be tempting, and realizing that you need to make sure that you maintain your balance as you move towards the things you really want to connect with in your life. Really keeping in mind that we have to stay in alignment with things that are not just good for us, but that are good for everyone, and keeping that at the forefront of our mind so that as we move towards success, we're not letting negative desires of conquest and success drive us too far away from the underlying positive message of whatever it is that you're creating. Okay, so what we don't see coming here is the Eight of Spheres. So that is the card of putting in the work. I think that is the card that is the sort of counterpoint, I think, to this Nine of Swords. I mean, this is a card of putting in the time and effort to make sure something is done in a very detailed and a lot of care to attention as you're building something. But since this is happening in your subconscious, I feel like what this is realizing that as this success comes in, there's going to be a great deal of work of making sure that you're keeping your head on your shoulders and moving in the right direction. That's the message I get here, that as these temptations of the devil come in, as the success of whatever it is that you're working on comes in, there gets to be a point where you have to start really taking care to check the way you're thinking about things and the way you're interacting with whoever is involved with this situation. We want to make sure that our heart is aligned with positive things. We have to keep our mind on the consequences of our actions and make sure that we don't get too sucked into the idea of winning and success. And I don't know that that's necessarily always going to be an easy thing. I think the Eight of Spheres is showing the work that has to be put in. This is quite literally the effort you will have to put into your shadow work, is what I'm getting from here. So you've got the makings of being able to build something fantastic here, and you have a warning of the pitfall that could potentially take that away from you. You've got joy that's coming. Just make sure you don't let that joy get you too sucked out of the vision of why you were doing this in the first place. And I think you will be successful and happy with whatever this is. So, all right, Sagittarius, that is all I have for you today. I hope this was helpful, or at the very least enjoyable. But as always, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And if you have any feedback or comments you would like to share, please leave those in the comment section down below. I love to hear from you guys and try to interact as best as I can. And as always, if you know anyone that might enjoy this or any of my other videos or benefit in some way from this or any of my other videos, please feel free to share them as you see fit. But that's all I have for you today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.